Hi guys! Today Paul is going to share his experiences with testing the MK truck with you. Paul is a real versatile skater who skates whenever, wherever. He obviously does LDP, but also he skates downhill, bowl and street. Paul has a good understanding and feeling for what's happening under his feet. So he can describe precisely the way the MK truck behaves and works.
So on the Maluna truck, I'm using the narrowest hanger width at 132 millimeters with 4mm distance spacers in the truck and Riptide APS Formula 75A bushings with a fat cone board side and a barrel roadside. So I would say my LDP skating style is definitely more push dominant, probably like 70% pushing, 30% pumping, or maybe even 75-25. And that push percentage definitely goes up the worse the conditions get. But I do mainly push up to speed, and then once I'm at speed, I pump to maintain like endurance or efficiency. And if I'm sprinting, I'm definitely pushing when sprinting, not pumping. So yeah, I would consider myself more push dominant as a skater. Yeah, I can feel that the Malunakaka truck has impacted my pumping performance. Maybe not so much my pushing performance, but the truck definitely feels different in both aspects, pumping and pushing, compared to my old truck. But specifically in pumping, I feel it's improved my performance. So on my race setup with my old truck, so a platform with a bracket and torsion tail, I would push up to high speeds, and only then could I feel that I had the rebound out of my bushings in my truck to maintain pumping and to feel like I could accelerate when pumping. At lower speeds, I couldn't maintain pumping, and it felt like I was slowly slowing down. Um, and with the Malunakaka truck, no matter what the speed, I always feel I have rebound to accelerate when pumping. I can go from a low speed, start pumping, and the rebound is always there to accelerate faster and faster up to a higher speed. If I was to compare it to something to try and explain it, the best way I think I could do it would be with my old truck. I couldn't pump in first, second, or third gear. I would have to push up to speed, and only then could I feel the rebound to maintain pumping or to accelerate when pumping in fourth, fifth, and sixth gear. It felt like I had turbo lag, that I couldn't get the rebound that I wanted first, second, and third gear or at lower speeds when skating. Whereas with the Malunakaka truck, there is rebound available at all times. So in first, second, third gear at low speeds, it didn't feel like I had no rebound. I could instantly just start pumping, and it would accelerate just like it would at higher speeds. So it doesn't feel like I have turbo lag anymore. With the Malunakaka truck, I can pump at low speeds, first, second, and third gear, and I have the instant response to maintain pumping or to accelerate when pumping. Yeah, I can feel how the design of the Malunakaka truck and the 4mm distance spacers, how they've impacted my pushing, my pumping, my turning, and just my skating in general. With my old truck, I had it set up to have a really turny and responsive center. This was for commuting around town in case I came across any sudden obstructions, so cars getting in the way or pedestrians being in my line. So even when I was standing on one foot, I could put a light amount of input into the board, and the truck would instantly turn to avoid the obstruction or to veer and change my line. I would describe this as a turn center. But the downside was on rougher pavement, it would be a little bit twitchy and unstable. Um, Whereas the Malunakaka truck, I would describe as a lean center. It doesn't instantly turn with light amounts of input. It leans like a car changing lanes on a highway. It goes like this instead of instantly turning with its nose. So this was the main thing that took me a while to get used to, was a lean center versus a turn center, but it definitely feels more stable and less twitchy. And this lean center is just for the initial part of the turn. So when you're putting light amounts of pressure in as input, it leans as its initial movement. But once you start applying more pressure to actually turn, it turns more than my old truck somehow. So it has a smaller turning radius, even though it has a lean center. And my way of explaining this is the board feels so centered and so stable with the truck that it feels level when you are turning, that like the stability is in the center. So when all of your weight is on the edge of the board, and normally with another truck it would feel like you're on the edge about to fall off the board, it feels like when you're putting all that pressure on the edge, the board is still flat. It feels hunkered and centered, so you feel more balanced when applying pressure to the very edge of the board. So you can put more pressure to turn sharper, instead of trying to put all that pressure and then the truck stops turning and then you lose balance and fall off. So yeah, the truck has a lean center but more turn because of the stable center. So far I've only tested the Maluna Kaka truck on my race setup, so a platform with a bracket and torsion tail. But I definitely feel that the truck works really well with the torsion tail to get a really high speed pump. Um, but I can definitely see the truck being used on other setups, like drop boards with wedging, or double drop boards. Um, and I'm even excited to test the truck on a downhill setup as a front truck, to see how it fares in downhill. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. So yeah, any low down setup, bracket setups, double drops, drop boards with wedging, they would be my recommendations. But I'm super excited to test it for downhill. Yeah, I definitely recommend the Malune and Kaka truck to others because it feels so different to a normal pumping truck, that like the turn feels so true and linear, and the rebound is always there for pumping. You don't have to be at a certain speed to be able to catch the rebound to pump. It's just always there. And yeah, it's a stable pushing truck, and it's the best pumping truck I've felt.